And this is the monthly missions moment for the month of August. August was a great month for our church. We had $3,852 that came into our church, of which $2,815 went back out again into our missionaries. That left us a surplus of $1,037. That's a great month. And what will we do with that surplus? Well, right around the corner, we have a missions conference to pay for in the month of November. And then just a few months after that, our regular missions conference that sits out in March. So a surplus is not a bad thing. So as it relates to the monthly missions moment, what's the purpose of this? One, it's to put front and center into your mind the needs of our missionaries. We're only going to focus on 4 or 5 missionaries, and you'll hear how you can channel your prayers, focus your prayers in relation to their needs. And then maybe, perhaps you've come into an additional amount of money from one reason or another, and there might be something that we talk about here in the next few minutes that perks your heart. The Spirit of God pricks you about doing something about some of these needs that our missionaries have. And I would encourage you to do that via our church. So give through the offering, designate it toward the particular need that you want it to serve. And so stay tuned. We're going to travel through our missionaries now one at a time and share with you the needs that are in their life right now. And our first missionary in focus will be our very own Brother BJ Stagner. We call him our very own because he's so familiar to our church. He's preached our youth camps, and he's done conferences for us, and Brother BJ is a personal friend. Now, it wasn't that long ago that we featured him, but we're re-featuring him, and here's the reason. He has a situation that we all need to be praying about. He is getting evicted from his home. They're going to sell where he currently lives, and they offered for him to buy. It's just too expensive. Housing in the UK is very, very expensive. So he has to find a new place to live. And so I encourage you to be in prayer that the Lord would direct the steps of the Stagners in this need and give them the place that is just perfect for them. And there are options. He had shared a couple little things that are available. The cost is quite high, and the opportunity there is very, very serious. So I just asking you now to pray for the Stagners in their need for housing. I wouldn't even know what to say about the financial aspects yet. Right now, just turn to the Lord in prayer. Add it to your prayer list that God would direct the Stagner steps as it relates to their housing need. Andy and Connie Ritchie. Our most recent letter that we have from Brother Andy accounts for the fact that Kenya has been extremely stringent on their COVID-19 response, and they are still unable to meet. So Brother Andy has found new venues of presenting the gospel and training the local pastors on Baptist distinctives and the need for church planting, of which he cites in his July letter. And he accounts for how God has opened up different opportunities, they call them fellowships, to gather together and to still continue their training of these young men, most of the time young men that are pastors or desiring to be a pastor in the work of planting independent fundamental Baptist churches. So Brother Andy and Connie Ritchie are just a voracious soul-winning couple, and God is using them in a powerful way there. So continue to pray for Brother Andy. As you all know, Brother Andy is the son of Robert and Cheryl Ritchie, of course, deacon in our church, and so we know Brother Andy quite well. And I've been there, and I've seen his field, I've met the people that he's influenced, and the Lord is using his work there. So pray for Brother Andy now in this unique sort of venue that he's trying to find a way to get the gospel continuing throughout Kenya there in his sphere of influence. So continue to pray for Brother Andy and Miss Connie as well. And now Andy and Lisa Simpson, missionaries to Taiwan, a very difficult field when it comes to seeing results. Well, the Lord is still blessing in a tremendous way as they continue their outreach. COVID-19, once again, like everybody else, basically shut everything down, all their meeting opportunities, and they've just now been able to open up a few additional opportunities. Well, what they were able to do was to go forward with camp. And camp has been effective, useful in their ministry with the young people. And they were able to have 21 young people that went off to camp out of the 2 churches that they were able to start. And out of these 21 people, decisions were made. Well, in addition to that, he writes about the obedience of the people that are in his church now, how there was, I think, 5 different people that followed the Lord in believers' baptism, and others that were cited as having given their heart to Christ. So one of the mothers with her children had come back to the States, and had come to the States, and here in America, she emailed back to Brother Simpson and said that her children had expressed the desire to follow the Lord in believers' baptism, and as soon as we get back, we are going to do that. And by the time this letter came to us, that has been accomplished. She and her family were baptized, following the Lord in obedience. And so we rejoice with some of these victories that Andy and Lisa Simpson are experiencing. Pray for their continued victories in their ministry there in Taiwan. Missionary Edgar and Roseanne Fagali. The Lord is using Brother Fagali to serve the entire Middle East. He has radio stations. The Lord has opened up opportunities for him to have Christian schools, plant churches, have Bible colleges. There's a tremendous amount of outreach when it comes to Brother Fagali's ministry to the Middle East. Consequently, we have a number of updates that take place in between letters. One of the updates we recently received was the result of the explosion that took place. It was no small explosion. The largest explosion in history as it relates to the Middle East. 2,750 tons, I believe, of nitrate exploded, devastating and leaving 250,000 people within seconds homeless. And it's affected their food supply, their electricity. It's affected everything that they have. Pastor Milad in Beirut is Brother Fagali's man on the ground, and he has said they are in a desperate situation, that if they don't get help soon, that they are going to run out of regular supplies. That is the entire region there. So pray for Brother Fagali, and if you would like to give to this cause, he has guaranteed that everything that comes to him will go through him. That is, it will make it to that need. They need a number of things. They need batteries and flashlights and, like I say, food supplies. And all we can do is provide the money. And then Brother Fagali will get the money to them so that they can make the purchases. So if you want to help, then take that initiative to go ahead and designate your giving to Edgar Fagali, and he will make sure that the funds get to his Pastor Milad in Beirut. It's a tremendous need that they have right now, and that's an update for Brother Fagali. As far as everything else goes, the Lord is opened up a tremendous amount of opportunities, continued opportunities. One of the things is probably in their need of money, the area. They back taxed Brother Fagali's radio station there in Baghdad. $160,000. Well, consequently, Brother Fagali countered that back tax with a willingness to start a Christian school. Believe it or not, they're open-minded to that. And so Brother Fagali requests that you would make this a matter of prayer, that we would make this a matter of prayer, because they're toying with the idea of, instead of making the radio station pay the $160,000, that they would rather a Christian school be established for the youth there in Baghdad. And so he's asking if every church would consider maybe allocating $2,000 to $3,000 or raising $2,000 to $3,000 for the need, because the total cost is going to be extremely expensive. It'll be $838,000. That includes the purchase of a building, and then also the taxes associated with that building. The cost of it would total to be $838,000. And so, again, if that's a thing that's a need where the Lord burdens your heart about, and you want to give an extra $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 to that cause, then you just designate your funds to Edgar Fagali and the Christian school, and we will make sure it goes to that cause. Otherwise, you would designate it to Edgar Fagali, and you should probably say Beirut, and we will make sure that it goes towards the need that they have in relation to this bomb that has left 250,000 people homeless and the entire region devastated. So pray about what the Lord would have you to do, and if that is simply to pray, then continue to pray for the need that they have. It's tremendous there in the Middle East. Joseph Cohoyah is a missionary to Kenya, Africa, and his most recent letter, which is not very recent, we haven't had a letter in quite some time, but the most recent letter that we have is back in February, and he wrote about the close of the year and how the Lord had opened up different opportunities, and many had come to Christ for salvation. The beginning of 2020, in the month of January, he had 14 people saved in one evening service. He writes about, additionally beyond that, in February, or January, one of those two, that he was invited to an open-air meeting where 400 people raised their hand in that service saying that they desired to be saved. He baptized within the beginning part or the ending of the year some 60 converts, or just under 60 converts. So based upon that letter, the Lord is really opening up a lot of opportunities for him there, and he's seeing people saved and baptized and growing in the Lord. He just recently, in relation to February, had reopened his Bible college, and he was praying for that and for the different needs that they have there in the Bible college as renovations and so forth. And he had a vehicle that is broken down and also has a need there concerning the vehicle. And I don't know the current status, as February is quite some time ago, but that's the last letter that I had received from him. And so that's the last update that we have for Brother Joseph Cohoyah. It's been a lot of years ago, but I guess maybe 10 years ago or more, that Brother Cohoyah actually came stateside, and we were able to have him in our church. I took him over to the public school, and we hosted a devotion in the morning hour, and that was really interesting as he saw our culture and reacted to it. It was quite interesting. But pray for Brother Joseph and his wife and the continuance of their ministry. And that's the monthly missions moment as it relates to August. And look forward to the following month of September to see how the Lord will bless in regard to missions. If there's any need that we've accounted for that you want to take part in, please know every dollar will go to that need. So if the Lord has impressed your heart to help in one of these areas, then please take the necessary action and give to that cause. Otherwise, let's lift these gentlemen and their families up in prayer. So thank you for tuning in for the monthly missions moment. We'll see you back next month.